Yeah. B.O.D.
Look, tracked by real boy for the B.O.D. Spit by the fit, OGCOD. Open up your ears, cause we the key. Man, you ready for change? Yo, we gon' see. Making strong men who gon' take the weight. Each one teach one, learn from my mistakes. I'm talking De La Soul, cause these is high stakes. You moving too fast, youngin', apply the brakes. You need to evaluate the friends you got. Tighten up and slide like a Wednesday night. Learn a lesson, don't matter if you win or not. I got friends that's in the box that lost trying to win the block. They say the revolution won't be televised. How about a podcast with two intelligent guys? Don't stress your competitive size. The bigger the blessing, the wetter the eyes. Everything in due season to create a new world. It took y'all a few evenings, and we won't stop until we're all eating. Organized. Welcome to the board meeting.
Renaissance boys are back in the building.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Once again, it's on. We are the board of directors, and this is the board meeting. Make sure you check us out online at bodspeaks.com. I'm Gerard, and it's my pleasure to ask the most dangerous question in all the podcast world. Mike, what's happening with you, man?
Man, I want to say rest in peace to Omar.
Yes, sir. Michael K. Williams, man. Yeah, that was crazy, man, when I heard that he had passed away, man.
I know, man. You know, so unexpected, kind of like Chadwick Boseman. It's kind of a shock to you, man.
Mm-hmm.
Not really knowing the cause of death, but people are assuming what it was, man. But for whatever reason it was, man, it was shocking altogether for me. I was like, man, we lost Omar for the second time, dog.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, and this time, man, is like it's so much like greater, like so much more devastating, man. Because this, you know, of course, it's not a role; it's real life. But
yeah.
You know, you think about, you know, from our standpoint, it's somebody that you've seen on TV, you've seen in more shows than just The Wire. You know, you've seen things from them on social media, things of that sort, and just one day, just seemingly out of the blue, just gone.
Just gone, man. Yeah, man. So it was a little shocking, man. So I just wanted to give him a shout out and say rest in peace to him, man, for giving us the Omar, the character, man, because he might have been my favorite character on The Wire, dog.
Oh yeah, easily. For me, it was either him or Bunk.
A Bunk.
Yeah. Yeah, real talk. And I would say, you know, stuff like that happens. You want to go back and like, oh man, let me go watch this, you know, show that they were in, or listen to this thing that they were on. And I'd love to go back and rewatch The Wire, but that is a serious time commitment. So I may just have to pull up a few YouTube clips or something, man.
Yeah, it's gonna be like 2 or 3 months of your life.
Oh, easily.
So, yeah, because you know we too busy to binge.
Hey, for real though, I do have a couple favorite quotes, and I remember, and like both of these happened in the same scene. It's like, I don't know much about cards, but I know these 4-5s beat a full house. That was a dope line right there. And the other one is like, money ain't got no owners, only spenders.
Only spenders.
Yeah. So remember that.
Dope. All right, man. Other than that, man, how was your day, dog? Did you get to the gym today? That's what I want to know.
Yes, I did. I am back in the gym. Fortunately, the gym at the job allows those who are vaccinated to come back in. If you are not permitted to use the gym. Even yet and still, I am wearing a mask in the gym. I do from time to time find it hard to breathe. However, I feel like that's just additional cardio conditioning. So I'm not really too mad at it because I need all the help I can get right now. But yeah, I'm back in, trying my best to go at lunch. If I miss lunch, I go after work. And I'm still trying to do like I was when we were working in the house, man, 4 days a week. So
okay, dope.
I know one thing. I'm not as strong as I used to be.
The reality check, like, oh, I am not there anymore. Well, the thing is, do you have the patience and the perseverance to start over to get back to where you were again? A lot of people get frustrated and like, I can't do this and quit.
No. I've stopped and started as far as at home workouts go throughout the pandemic. Yeah. So like I was, walking on the treadmill here at home. I'm going outside and jumping rope. I'm doing push-ups in the house. I'm playing the Ring Fit Challenge on the Switch when the kids aren't playing. Like nothing has really worked for me. Yeah. At home. Going to the gym, even though I got to get in my car, drive away from home, go somewhere and sweat and come back, I can stick to that. Now I say that, and this is my second week back in the gym. but I feel as though it feels more like what I'm used to.
Okay.
So,
okay. Is there a different focus while you're in the gym than when you're at home?
Yes. The main thing is that there's more equipment for me to take advantage of. So, like if I want to work chest, I don't have to do the same. I don't have to just do push-ups. I can do a bench press. I can do an incline. I can do a decline. I can do a seated press. I can do a butterfly. There's so many different exercises and varieties that I can do because of the equipment choices. So, that helps me to not kind of plateau and get bored or frustrated with having to do the same thing over and over again. So the ability to mix it up is what kind of helps me keep the focus.
Okay, I got you. I know for me, man, during the pandemic, when I was trying to work out, I was the same way, man. I was like, it's my options are very limited here. Mm-hmm. Like, it's only so many ways I can move my hands to do a push-up to make it more difficult.
Exactly.
But it took, like, I was trying to get those adjustable dumbbells for a long time, and they finally came available, and I was like, I'm gonna get these joints. And when I got them, man, it really helped me be more consistent working out at home, because I was able to be, I was able to do more stuff with dumbbells. Because dumbbells really are, man, they really are interchangeable. You can use them to do just about every exercise possible. Right. If you just know how to set your body the correct way, man. But that helped me a lot. But yeah, being in the gym, I'm far more focused, man.
Yeah.
I'm far more focused in the gym. I don't know what it is about that environment. And maybe it's because there's a bunch of equipment in there and some mirrors for me to look at myself while I'm working out.
Critical. Always critical that you look at yourself in the mirror.
That's right. And I'm like, ooh, look at my stomach. I gotta do some sit-ups, dog. I gotta get rid of this thing.
Hey, for real, man. It's like on the plus side, yeah, you can see your gains. On the downside, you can see, I need to tighten up on that right there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a good thing, man, just to have that option. We're fortunate we don't have to go that far to get access to the gym. It's different from being at home, but I don't have the equipment. I don't have the access at home. And ultimately, you want to find something that you can do consistently. And, even if you had a little bit of equipment at home, if you're not using it consistently or you're not inspired to consistently engage with it, it's not going to do you any good. So whatever you can do consistently is what you need to go out there and try to do. So, don't feel bad if you don't have access to a gym or a gym's too far away from you, whatever the issue is. Whatever you can do consistently, do that.
Yeah, that's right, man. I tell people when they first getting started, especially they want to like come work out around me, and not now, because now nobody.
Now it's like, come on, we all on the same boat right now.
Yeah, but then I always tell people like, don't ever measure your success based on me. Mm-hmm. I've been working out for a while. Of course, I should be stronger than you. I should be able to do more reps. I should be able to be more intense than you are, because I've conditioned my body to do that. You haven't. I said, but you have to know what your motivation is when you go to the gym. It can't be about me. Because there'll be days I'm not there. If I'm not there, are you going still?
Yeah.
Or are you just waiting on me?
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to find your own personal motivation. Like my motivation may be similar to it. We talked about it. It may be similar to yours, but it's not going to be the exact same. So that's why I keep going. It's easy for me to show because I know exactly why I'm going there. I know exactly why I go to the gym. So my motivation is easy. If you don't know exactly why you're going, if you got to go like, I need to have a partner there with me, I can't work out by myself, you need to check your motivation. Your motivation ain't strong enough yet.
Yeah, you got to find what's going to keep you in there.
Yeah, exactly.
Plenty of people will see your results, but will not want to put in the work that you put in to get where you are. Listen, when, shout out to Rhea, my workout partner, man, we would be in there and people would see us working out together and they'd be like, well, I need to come work out with y'all. And we'd be like, yeah, come on, work out with us. Knowing full well we're going to have them for about a smooth 3 days, hops. And they be like, I can't hang with y'all no more. Y'all too advanced for me. It was like, well, what you think we were over here doing when you invited yourself to join us?
Hey, you saw us over here doing this, right?
Exactly. I mean, yeah, we're having fun, we're laughing and joking while we do it, but that don't mean this joint don't hurt.
Yeah, we working hard though.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, we got to have these jokes and laugh just to get through it.
Yeah, you got to laugh not to cry, dog. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Plus, another reason why I like going to the gym right now at our gym, it's safe. Ain't nobody in there.
Nobody in there.
Ain't nobody in there.
Yeah, I started, at first when I started going back, I was going like around 12:15. And the usual, lunch crew would be in there. So I was like, I did 2 days of that. I was like, let me dial this back probably about an hour. So 1:15, 1 o'clock, there's like 2 other people in the gym.
Yeah.
And then by the time you halfway done with your workout, both of them gone. So I'm in there. I'm in there just arms wide open, spinning around in circles, jumping rope wherever I want to jump rope at.
Yeah, do it all kind of like, not having to wait on the machine. Like, well, I got this one and this all at the same time.
Yeah, because they tell you to try not to work out in a circuit because you occupy more machines, and then everybody would have to wipe down if you're trying to share it at the same time just to be safe. Yo, you go in there at the right time. I'm on all these machines. I'm working on all this. This is me. This side of the gym right here. That's all me.
I'll write them down when I'm done.
Exactly. So yeah,
for sure.
I have adjusted. Usually, I would do. I pick 2 muscle groups and do 3 exercises each. Because I'm just starting back out again, and also because I'm going in the middle of the workday. Different from how I'd go I'm going in the middle of the workday from home.
Yeah.
So I got to calculate drive time in there also.
Drive time in there, yeah.
So I'm doing 2 exercises per muscle group, and in between each set of each exercise, I'm doing 50 single unders on the jump rope. So
you're going hard, dog. That's all that is.
Oh, I mean,
in the beginning, just to be getting back into it, that's going hard.
Well, I don't want to go okay. One of the things I miss, I'll say this about working out pre-pandemic, is that I had a workout partner. And that helped drive me a little bit. Now I don't have a workout partner. So I'm working out by myself again. So I'm like, okay, I want to push myself, but I also don't want to get to the point where I'm like, this is too difficult and I quit. So the jump rope is like, okay, you're getting the rest from your muscle group, but you're still working out. You're still moving. You're still, getting your steps in, whatever have you. So you're staying active. So, okay, I'll do the jump rope. Yeah. And then I'll go back and get back under the bench again, and I'll do another set of 10, and then I get them jump some more rope. So it's just finding a balance, staying active, trying to make the most of the time that I'm there, man. And
that's it.
I didn't let myself go completely. In fact, I actually lost weight last year between June and December.
Oh, okay.
But in the time after Christmas, I think we got some of that back. But I'm still not ridiculous. I'm not out there like I was.
Like you was.
Yeah, 2000 what? 18, 19? 19.
19? Okay.
Yeah, we went to Jamaica in 2019. So.
Okay. Yeah, dope, man. So I was just curious about that, man. If you had got it in, let the people know, man. Yo, it don't matter where you at. Start there.
Yeah.
Start there. And don't look around what everybody else's results are. Focus on yourself and what you're trying to accomplish. Because that's all that matters. As long as you feel good about yourself, man, you feel good about yourself.
Right. And try to combine it with a little calorie deficit also. Doesn't hurt.
Yeah, check your eating, dog. Check your eating. That's probably more important than the gym player.
It really is, man. Like if you can do the gym part and then just combine it with I'm not even talking like, salad and tofu.
Yeah.
I'm just talking like eat what you want to eat, but look at your portions, look how many calories are in things, because nothing changed my workout weight loss game like actually tracking what I was eating. Because when I start loading that joint into MyFitnessPal and realize, well, damn, I can have this and, I can have like 2 handfuls of it, or I can have this and have like half a handful of it, and it's going to be the same calories. Like, which one would you prefer? And yeah, I started finding healthier options. I stopped drinking calories because, that soda that you have with your meal, 120 calories just for a drink.
Just to wash the food.
Yeah. So it's like, you start making better choices when you realize the impact that your choices have on your overall diet. So
one thing I've been doing more recently, man, I've been doing a better job listening to my body. Because you kind of condition when you're younger, like you clean your plate. Whatever's on your plate, you clean it. And sometimes cleaning your plate means being full already, but still continue to eat until your plate is empty.
Right.
And we've been conditioned that. Well, I know I've been conditioned to do that.
There's starving children in Africa.
That's right.
You better eat everything on your plate.
You better eat everything on this plate, dog. Yeah, so I've been conditioned to do that. So recently, man, I've been trying to condition myself to listen to my body better. And even though there's still food there, I'm like, man, I'm full.
Yeah,
I can stop now. I should stop. I should stop.
You got a house with a refrigerator in it, box it up, save it for later. You ain't got to throw it away. Just
come back to
you
it.
Got to eat it all right now.
Yeah, come back to because you're going to get hungry again.
Yep. It's a cycle.
Yeah, because naturally your body wants you to eat in like every so many hours anyway. It doesn't really want you to have 3 huge meals a day. It wants you to eat small portions throughout the day because it keeps you energized. And it's better for you because your body is constantly in digestion mode, which is burning calories itself. So like eating once or twice a day is almost a detriment to you to your weight loss goals that you're trying to do. Because your body goes into that starvation mode.
Yep.
Like, let me hold on to this fat, dog.
We don't know when we're gonna get some more, so we better hold on to it while we got it.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep. So and probably the biggest thing that I found, like you talk about listening to your body. Sometimes on the flip side of that, sometimes you got to tell your body what to feel, in my opinion, because I'll be like, I'm not full. I need to keep eating, and I'll keep eating. And then up until the point when you start to feel full, it's like, oh, I'm in pain now because I done ate too much. Yo, sometimes when the food is gone, just wait for 20 minutes. Just wait. Don't eat.
That's it.
You think you're not full. Wait for your body to give you the signal. If 20 minutes later you're still hungry, okay, then let's see what other options we have as far as get something to eat. But I'll tell you, 9 times out of 10, whenever I'm done eating and I think I'm still hungry, just wait.
That's it. Just wait. Yeah.
Just wait.
I agree. I've been telling Michael and Avery, I'm like, man, slow down. You're eating too fast. And when you eat fast, you're like, oh man, I eat fast. I can eat a bunch of food because you're eating fast. Your body ain't got time to catch up to the food coming in. And then when you finally finish, you're miserable. You can barely walk. Like, oh, my stomach hurts.
You just stuck on the couch with a cramp.
With a cramp, yeah, because you overly full, right? So, yeah, but like you say, if you slow down, take your time. If you're eating and nothing's there, and just wait a few, just wait, like say, like 20 minutes.
Yep.
Just wait and see. You most likely you're not gonna be hungry, and if you are hungry, just go grab you a cup of water.
Yep. Oh, that's my thing, bruh. I'm killing 20 ounces of water within the first 10-15 minutes of being awake. It's like the alarm goes off, I turn it off, I have my little water bottle sitting on the nightstand next to me, and it's like I go use the bathroom, I come out the bathroom after I get on the scale, and it's like, all right, let's fill this bad boy up, and just take it to the head until I can't hardly breathe no more, and then like catch my breath, and I'm going right back at it.
That's it. I do the same thing though. I have a bottle of water sitting out. I don't even do it intentionally. It just kind of happens now.
Yeah.
And it's the bottle of water that's sitting there. I'm like, oh, let me drink this water real quick. And I bust it down. First thing in the morning before I get started doing anything else, I bust that water down. And so it helps with my breakfast too. So I don't purchase a bad breakfast, or I don't like, man, I need to get me some toast this morning. Like I can avoid doing stuff like that.
Yep. So you don't overeat at breakfast, man. Yeah.
So you don't overeat. Yeah.
Yep. And I don't have to eat as early if I'm killing the water. Like if I'm getting up at 6 a.m. and killing, a lot of days before 9 o'clock, I'm 30, 35 ounces in. Easy.
Yeah, me too. Yeah,
my goal for the day is usually about 80. So I'm ahead of schedule.
Yeah, 35 ounces by 9, that's light work.
Yep.
It's light work. If you're drinking water immediately, like we do, it's just light work, man.
Yeah, because I like to hit my goal for the day. So the best way to hit your goal for the day is get started as early as possible.
That's right.
I mean, if that ain't a metaphor for life, and accomplish the things you set out to accomplish, I don't know what is.
No, I know that's a good way. That's a good segue too, dog.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Got to, man. Get started early. The earlier you get started, the earlier you can finish.
Yes, sir. All right, man. Let's jump into these. One good question.
Well, let's do it. All right. So I think we finally, for once, discussed ahead of time that you asking the question first. So go ahead and knock it out.
All right, man. So this is me giving you props because you're always a Dapper Dan type dresser, man. What,
Okay.
what gives you the motivation to always step out and look your best?
Bruh. The answer to your question, and I know this is a stalling tactic because I'm thinking and talking while I'm saying all this at the same time, but
Oh, good. It could be a vain answer. That's fine
No,
with me too.
there's probably some of that in there, but I think the main thing is you never know who is watching. You know, the same way that, you know, we watch our behavior when we're amongst other people is the same reason why I put care and concern into how I'm dressed when I go outside of my house. You never know who you might run into, who may be watching you that you don't run into, but just observes your actions, the way you carry yourself, the way you dress yourself. And I always want to make a good impression. You know me, and you know the conversations we've had. Mm-hmm. One of the things I hate the most is being misunderstood.
Yes.
So whether it's in the way that I talk and somebody misunderstanding the words I say, or it could be in the way that I dress, somebody misinterpreting how I feel about myself or how I care for myself. I don't want those things to be misunderstood. So yes, I will iron the t-shirt to go to the grocery store because I care about how I look. I think part of it also comes from seeing my dad growing up. Like he always, like it was always for a long time, wore suits to work. You know, and even when, you know, later years that the dress code got relaxed a little bit and it could be like a button up and a pair of slacks, no jacket, no tie required, anything like that. Mm-hmm. Just, it was always, I remember he would get us dressed for church in the morning and he would just like really be impressed with how good we looked when he got us dressed up. And that was a good feeling. Like you want, you know, daddy tell you look good, man. You look good.
Yeah, for sure.
And, you know, that kind of carried over, you know, gave, you know, when it was time for me to get my own clothes and go out and step out and do my own thing, that I had that level of interest in continuing what he had started basically. So yeah, I'd say those are probably my two major components. I never know who is watching. You're always on stage, whether you think you're performing or not. And just the example and the influence of my dad growing up.
Okay. Dope.
Yeah.
No, I'm good, man. I'm curious. I was like, what's G's motivation for always looking fly? Because you always make it a point of contention to make sure we fly.
Well, I mean, I'm also just in general, like, I feel like I'm a neat person. I'm an organized person. Yeah. I try not to live sloppy. Mm-hmm. You know, I like things in order in their place. And same thing, like, I don't dress sloppy either, not in my opinion. You know, if I'm going to go, it's going to look like I put some thought into it.
Yeah, for sure.
It's going to look like everything is where it's supposed to be because
for sure.
I generally live an organized existence. So yeah, that's it. I don't know if I've ever really thought about it that much, but I appreciate you making me ponder it a little bit. I had to buy some time there at the beginning of that.
That's what these one good questions are for.
Yeah. So of course you had a good question and my question would just be meh. But here we go. What was your favorite book growing up? Ooh, and I say growing up, this could be elementary school, it could be high school, it could be middle school. I'd say in that primary school range.
I immediately, when you said that, my brain went immediately to the Childcraft encyclopedia books when I was growing up. You ever heard or seen the Childcraft books?
I remember Children's Britannica, but not Child's Craft.
Yeah, they were called childcraft encyclopedias, and they were volumes. They gave you they were like encyclopedias. They had, had information about different things, but a lot of the examples and definitions also had a lot of activities to go along with it.
Okay.
So, and they were real creative, which was really helpful for me when I was young, because I was basically an only child. My sister older than me. She man, go leave me alone, dog.
Right.
Young. So that kind of left me to my vices of playing with myself, because I wasn't quite old enough yet to be running the streets all day in the summertime. I hadn't quite reached that age yet. So it was just me in the house, just kind of trying to figure out what I'm gonna do. Back then we didn't have cable TV and access to video games like the children have now. So I had to have the access to my brain and my imagination. And a lot of that was found within those childcraft books, whether me reading something and learning something new about myself or about the world, or just learning how to make a paper airplane and going outside and throwing it. And then I'm like, man, I just made a paper airplane. And I go outside and throw it. And then it was me trying to modify the paper airplane a little bit off the beaten path of what they showed me to try to make it fly better, to make it fly further. And then me telling my buddies about it. Hey, man, I know how to make a paper airplane. Let me show you how to make a paper airplane. So it was things. So the Childcraft Encyclopedia, which is, now I think about it, it's very strange for me to say that.
I mean, it is what it is. If that was your favorite book, that's your favorite book, man.
Well, because it was a whole volume. It was A through Z. It was a whole volume.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to ask you, was it like, did you get like a new one every year or something? Was there a new edition every year to kind of add on to the collection, or was it just like A through Z type joint? So
it was just A through Z type joint. Yeah, and my mom saw I rocking with it, so she never got rid of them. Gotcha.
Were they also things that you could use, like if you had a paper to write for school, or was it not quite on that level?
It wasn't quite on that level.
Okay.
Not quite yet. Yeah. So that's it, man. I mean, that's, like I said, that's kind of weird now. Think about it, man. Childcraft Encyclopedia. Oh, man, that brings me some good memories, though.
I've never heard of that brand before. Like I said, I know World Book. I know Encyclopedia Britannica. I don't think I heard Childcraft.
Yeah. I think. See, I didn't know there was a children's version of the Britannica. Mm-hmm. I had heard of World Book. Actually, I think I had a volume of World Book. I wasn't rocking with it because it wouldn't teach me how to do anything.
Gotcha.
Looking it up now.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Okay, so where they had like a blue binding, blue and white.
Yep.
I just looked it up. Yo, you can apparently you can still get them out here in these streets on online.
Okay. All right. Well, shout out to my memory.
Yeah.
Shout out to my memory.
It completely faded.
You get a shout out to my memory.
Sometimes, but yeah, I had to look more into that. So I guess they were just encyclopedias made specifically for children.
Yeah.
That was our Google before Google.
Before Google, that's what it was. Yeah. Shout out my memory, because that must have definitely made an imprint on me if I can still remember it like that. Because that's the very first thought I had when you asked that question, dog. I was like, childcraft, and I was like, I can't say childcraft. I was like, that's what it was, though.
Yeah, you can say childcraft.
That's what it was, though.
Oh man. All right, so cool. That was dope. That was one good question. I think we can go ahead and move on now to our new favorite segment, the mailbag. All right, so we've got, I'm over here knocking the mic. We've got another question from another listener. I'm gonna go ahead and read the question, and I'll let you respond first, because I think we both got feelings about this question.
Get my pontificate on.
The question says, what are some ways to find your inner strength as a man in a world that says masculinity is toxic? I got beef for that question, but I'm gonna let you go first.
All right, so I'm just gonna repeat it before I answer it again. So, what are some ways to find your inner strength as a man in a world that says masculinity is toxic? So, my thing is, why is masculinity toxic? That's my biggest question. Like
that's my question as well.
What are we doing here? What are we doing here?
Yeah, because
masculinity in its truest essence isn't toxic at all.
No. But there are some aspects and certain behaviors that can be considered toxic, and they are displayed under the guise of masculinity.
Yeah, and I feel like they're just machismo.
Yes.
Which is not masculinity.
No.
It's fake masculinity.
Yes.
So, but if we want to really, so we got a problem with the question, but let's dig down into what they're really trying to ask here is how do you find your inner strength when the world said you shouldn't have it? I think this would how we could better question for ourselves.
Right.
I knew at least for me that makes me feel better when I reword it that way. So how do you find your inner strength? Really it is about defining your purpose and following that path.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of touched on this a little bit last podcast too, with being a visionary. Your inner strength is not something that the world gives you, and this question makes me think that you're looking for the world to tell you who you are, the world to co-sign on your thoughts, ideas, and actions. Well, that's not so. That's the question was inner strength. It's about you. Inner strength. What do you want to accomplish? What do you desire to do? Who do you desire to be? Defining those things and then working towards those things is how you discover your inner strength. And that's my prelude. I'm gonna let you jump in. We're gonna really hit it. So
yeah, I'm in agreement with you. I believe the way you find that inner strength is to find out what your motivation is. What inspires you to get up and to fight on after you've been knocked down. When somebody says that you can't have it, what pushes you to go out there and continue to attempt to get it? So, that inner strength comes from, again, it needs to be, like we talked about in the last episode, it needs to be a source that will not run dry. It has to be something that once you obtain it, you want to continue to work for it. Like it can sustain you. It will be enough when it is you actually obtain that thing. So, I think I can just speak from personal experience. One of my greatest drives is the fact that I want my children to understand that the things that they want to have in this life and in this world, they got to get up and go work for them. And there's going to be times where you don't want to get up and go work, but you're going to have to keep on pushing anyway. And that's my motivation. So if I'm having a morning where I'm like, I'm not feeling it, I'm not into it, where I don't want to go out there and get it today, then I remember that in that difficult moment that there's little people watching me who are taking their cues from how I act and how I behave. And if I stumble, if I falter, if I give up too soon, then they're going to see that, and then they're going to think it's okay for them to do the same thing. And like you said, it's not anything that the world can give me. I've got to find it within myself. And once I found it, the world's not able to take it away either. Like, no matter what the outside world may say, rather that motivation is insufficient according to them, or it's not good enough, or whatever it is they may have negative to say about it, they didn't give it to me and they can't take it away. It's just that simple. So my approach is make sure that I tie my motivation to something that will sustain me once I get it, and when I have it, that I can continue on about my path because I have it, and it will not run out. So every day that I'm here and I'm present, no matter how old my kids get, I want to be an example to them, because eventually they're going to come along the same path that I'm coming down. So I just want to make sure that again, we talk about this all the time. People can't imitate what they don't see.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I want them to be able to have a physical, tangible topic or a point of reference that they can imitate because they've seen it, so that they know that it can be done when they have these same challenges in their life as well.
Okay, so I'm gonna piggyback off that, since you talked about the kids already. I don't want to regurgitate that again, because of course, our kids are our motivation.
Right.
But just kind of going back to the conversation we was talking about the gym. Like, and I my motivation is gonna be different than most people. So my motivation in going to the gym is that both of my parents died from heart attacks before they reached the age of 65. Really, before they reached the age of 63. Both of them died before they were 63 years old. So that's my motivation. I'm like, man, I need to eat better, and I need to be in the gym, and I need to make sure my heart is good. I need to make sure I'm staying conditioned. Like, that's why I go to the doctor and get checked up on. And going to the doctor, I found that, you know, my family has a high blood pressure issue. So it doesn't matter how well I eat. It doesn't matter how much I exercise. My blood pressure is always going to be an issue. Now, I keep it regular, and well, it's still a little bit higher than most people's, but it's not in the danger zone. And it's only because I work out as hard as I work out. And I stay very consistent about that. So my body stays relaxed and focused. So the pressure's not always running up. But my motivation, man, is simply that I don't want to be 62 and my kids don't get to see me anymore. I know how that feel. I know how that feel. I know how to live this majority of my life without my parents there. The people that raised me, I love and nurtured me and made me become the man I am. They don't get to see all the work they put in and get to see the results of that. And I don't want that my boys to be there, have that feeling either, man. So I do all I can to make sure I'm staying as healthy as possible. That's my motivation. Like, that's why I can go to the gym and work out. That's why I can go hard. That's why I can be consistent, because no one else is giving me that. And I think about it sometimes. I laugh, like when I'm jogging and I get really, really tired. I really want to quit. I don't have a go-to song at all. I turn my music off. Actually, I turn it off. And I start letting me talk to myself. I'm like, come on, dog, we got this. Like, what you doing, man? Like, what you out here for? You've been tired before. You can still running while you're tired. It's all right, man. You only got this much left to go. And that conversation I started having with myself, man, I can feel myself pick my pace back up, because I'm like, yo, dog, I'm not going to be beat because I want to quit. I'm not going to be beat because I want to stop. I'm only going to be beat because I decide to stop.
Right.
I'm not going to do that. And I can't do that with the music in my head, because it's too much outside distraction. It's like the world, again, the world talking to you, telling you who you are, what you should do, and how you should pace yourself. I turn all that out. I block all that, because the question was find some ways. You need to block out the world. Stop looking at the internet. Stop looking at social media. Stop listening to people. Stop letting them tell you who you are and what you are. And start focusing on you and what you can do for yourself, and start motivating yourself personally, because you're going to need that self-motivation, because at some point in time in your life, G is my dog. He's my dude, my ace boom coon, for sure. But some things I accomplish in life, I got to do without G.
Real talk.
I got to do without him. And some things I got to do in life, when I fall on my face, yeah, he might be there to help me pick me up, but I got to have the motivation to want to get up on my own. And if you don't have that purpose and that sense of drive and desire that you cultivated in yourself, you're not going to have it, man. And again, this is something, if you haven't done it before and you don't know, it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take practice. It's going to take persistence. And you're going to have to constantly go to it. And you might need to ask some people some questions, man. Hey, man, so I've been thinking about this. What you think about this? Like, talk to your friends and family who kind of know your personality, man. Not for them to tell you exactly what you need to do, but just kind of help make sure that you're on the right path for yourself.
Yeah. And then even when you get that, man, you got to be the one to go out there and execute it. Yeah, you can't depend on anybody else to say, okay, now that I got this, somebody else gonna make it happen for me. And I think one of the things, man, that we talk about, like finding that motivation, finding that drive within ourselves on our own. I think the thing that we need to be conscious of also, because we talk about it from the aspect of, we've been practicing and trying to do and live this way for a long time now. But for anybody who would be new to the process, who looks to the world to provide that motivation, to provide that drive, you're surrendering control of your own life over to an entity beside yourself. So if you're saying that, I'll be inspired once so-and-so does this, that, or whatever, then when they decide to not do this, that, or whatever, then they control your life, because then you can't do what you're supposed to do. If we're totally dependent on how somebody else acts or behaves to be the thing that is the catalyst for us to get up and do what we're supposed to do, if you live for their applause, you'll die for their booze. Straight up. You giving off control of your life to another person. And then you wonder why you haven't been able to do and accomplish the things that you wanted to do. It's because the control of your life for that aspect of it has been given over to someone else, when you're the one who needs to be in control of your action. Now, I don't say that to say that there's not a point where you should surrender, but understand what you need to surrender versus the things that it should be within your control to actually do. You know, I was having this conversation with Marissa this weekend, and people were questioning her for wearing her mask at work. And it's like, you know, okay, yeah, I'm vaccinated, but I've got a small child at home who can't be. And if I can still be a carrier, even though I'm vaccinated, I need to make sure that I'm taking care and taking precautions to keep them protected as well.
Yes.
And, you know, somebody could hear that and be like, well, you know, I'm just going to pray about it. Well, see, the thing about praying about it is the pray is your faith, of course, but faith without works is dead. So after you get up off your knees, then you need to be taking the action to use the tools that have been given to you to actually effectively execute that prayer. You know, it's again, a man standing on the side of a mountain with his mouth open waiting for a fish to fall in will go hungry.
Oh yeah.
You got to be the one who says, okay, once I am going to, you know, ask for these things, I've got to be the one to then go out there and execute it. You know, God helps those who help themselves is what I've always heard. So
Yep.
you know, if you have some desire, if you have some dream, you know, it's good to write it down. It's good to speak it. It's cool to share it with people, but you've got to be the one to go out there and get it. You've got to execute it. You've got to use the tools that are at your disposal to make these things happen. And if you are someone who will just simply put it into the universe, so to speak, but never put any action into the universe, then it's not going to happen. It's just as bad as making it all dependent upon somebody else's actions. You're turning over control of your life when it's within your control to make it happen. You got to have that motivation within yourself. You got to have that drive within yourself. If you're only speaking it, thinking it is going to merely manifest from your words, or if you're putting it on somebody else's actions to be dependent upon you going upon doing what it is you're supposed to do, it's not going to happen that way. It's within yourself, because when everything outside of the world lets you down, you've got to be the one that you can depend on.
Yeah, man, that was very profound right there, man. You said something that really stuck with me while you were talking about it. Where you were saying, you know, you shouldn't let the world define you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we all kind of fall into that, especially those who really get into social media, who really get into following what's happening online. We're starting to allow the crowd, and the crowd is often a small minority of people anyway. We're letting that crowd that's very loud dictate to us how we should think, feel, and act. And like the question is talking about, you know, masculinity being toxic. Well, masculinity isn't toxic, and you know, and just hang in with us for the next few episodes here. We're gonna talk about those things, like what really is, what manhood really is about. Like the last episode, we talked about being a visionary. This episode we're gonna talk about something different, but they all work together for you to become what you need to be. And if you really focus on being the best person you are, you won't be concerned about what anybody else says or thinks about you at all. And if they don't like you, then who cares? You know, everything you do ain't for everybody. That's just the way the world works.
Yeah, you got to be comfortable with yourself.
That's right. That's right. Exactly. I mean, it's because I throw on a pink tie, don't mean, and you don't like it. That's fine. It don't work for you, but it works for me. and my pink tie looks really good on me because I wear it like I'm supposed to have it on. So whatever you do it like you're supposed to be doing it.
Do it with confidence.
Yeah, and have that confidence in yourself, man. That's it.
Yep. Hey, it's real time. And I'll tell you, man, the issue with social media, the internet, TV, I keep wanting to say radio, but man, don't nobody listen to the radio no more. But is that we're constantly comparing our game footage to somebody else's highlight reel. It's like, okay, you know, every time down court, I'm not scoring, but I look on social media, everybody else is scoring every time they come down the lane, right? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I'm sitting over here, I know all of the things that go into my life. And they don't look like the things that you choose to pick and share that go into your life. It's like if you believe everything you see from everything that everybody else posts, then they'll have you believe that they never suffered a setback, never had a failure, never had a shortcoming ever in their life. When you know that's not the truth for your life.
Yep.
But again, you can't compare their highlight reel to your all game footage. It's just, listen, let them do them. Find it within yourself to be confident and secure in what it is that you do. And again, don't let that be dependent on somebody else's actions or behaviors. Don't let that be dependent upon just merely putting the word out there and thinking that it's going to manifest that way. It has to come from inside you. It has to be yours and yours alone. And when you get into those rough spots, you can draw on that and not have to worry about somebody else's behaviors or wait for the responses to somebody else's response to the words that you put in the air.
Yeah.
You have it for yourself.
That's what's up, man. And I can draw the next natural question that comes from this, right? From the conversation we've been having with one another. We keep talking about confidence, having confidence. So how do you develop confidence? Do it. Over and over and over again. You do it. How you develop confidence? You just talked about, the highlight reel. So in basketball, there's these things called free throws, right? You go to the free throw line and you shoot. Well, it seems like it's a very easy thing to do until you're actually at the free throw line during the game, the crowd watching, and the pressure's on. If you haven't been practicing your free throws consistently, if you're in practice and you're like, oh, I make 4 or 10, then you leave. When you get to that free throw line, you're not going to have the confidence you need to make sure you're going to make this shot. You're going to airball, you're going to brick, you're going to shoot it too hard, you're going to be nervous, your palms going to get super sweaty because you haven't put in the work that you know that you can sink this shot. But if you're in practice and you shooting 100 of these every time and you making 90 of these bad boys before you leave, like, man, I'm making 90 out of 100. When you get to that free throw line, you don't think about the crowd. You don't think about the people. You're like, man, I done did this before. I've seen this. Mm-hmm. And you shoot. And it's confident. Your stroke, you can see it in your stroke. You're like, oh, man, that's bucket. Even if it's off, people still think it's good because you're confident enough in yourself because you've done it enough times. So that's how you draw your confidence. You do it enough times so when you fail at doing it so many times, you can't help but succeed because there's no other ways to fail.
Yep. And you're going to fail. But when you practice, with the expectation that it won't be perfect in practice. But when the pressure is on and it's time to execute, you'll have the confidence to execute it like you're supposed to.
That's it, man.
Yep. Straight up.
All right. I think we took care of number 2.
Yeah, man, I think and that was a good question too. And we encourage you, if you have questions, please let us know. Send us an email at questions@bodspeaks.com. We'll read it on the air. Let us know if you don't want your name included. We will not include your name. We won't blow up your spot like that, but we'd love to have your question. And as you can see, Mike and I can have conversations about these type of topics all day long. So send them to us. Questions@bodspeaks.com. All right, so you want to go ahead and deliver this message, good sir?
Let's give it to him.
All right.
Good people. Continuing our conversations of the fundamentals of manhood. Last week, took on being a visionary. This week, we bring to you what a good servant is as being a man. And you got the gospel music playing in the background. It be throwing me off, dog.
Got to, man. Every time you start talking like that, man, I just know you about to preach a sermon, so I had to throw in the music real quick.
Yeah, man, get my pastor mode, dog. But one thing when I think about being a servant is stop using your kids as an excuse and use them as a reason. And I say that because there's so many people like, man, I can't do this because my kid's this, because my kid's that. Man, it's so hard because of my kid's this, my kid's that. And I think I'm going to say there's so many people in life who use their kids not to accomplish things versus using their kids to say, this is the reason for that. And I say that to bring it forward around being a servant, because a servant is about doing for others and doing it for them in a manner where you're not expecting anything from them other than the fact that you helped them out. And see, I think we do a disservice to our children when we use them as an excuse not to accomplish things in life, not to show up to work, not to go have a good time, or not to read that book, or not to take that class you thought you should take to help better your career. We use the kids saying we can't do it versus saying, Well, they are the reason, because they need to see me do this thing. They need to see me accomplish. They need to see me struggle and overcome, so they can see like, oh yeah, okay, so Pops did it. It's okay to fall, because he fell. He didn't act a monkey. He didn't act crazy. He got up and did what he had to do. Because when you're being a servant, you're looking to take care of people in manner and means that they are totally unexpected or aware of. Now, I know typically when we talk about being a servant, we talk about it should come from a place of love, and it all does come from a place of love. The love we talk about is Philly, right? The Philly love, which is brotherly love. Brotherly love is what you need to have for the love of people, because you just want to do things. But when we get real specific about being a servant, when we talking about serving the people around you, the people that you really, really love and care and adore, being a servant oftentimes means you got to have egg on your face, because they need to be able to see you get up from having egg on your face and wipe it off and saying, look, now my face is shiny and clean, because I didn't let that egg stay on my face. I didn't let it get me down. I still fought. I still got up. I still got through it. Now, servant isn't a something where you're being submissive, where you're making yourself lord of someone. It's actually putting you on a higher plane, because you're willing to do something for them that they're unwilling to do for themselves oftentimes. I like to use the example of when I was young, and we had a guy across the street. His name was Dan, and he had the immaculate yard. He had the best yard in the neighborhood, hands down. And Dan cut his grass all the time. Now, I grew up in a neighborhood with a bunch of kids, but it had to be about 12 of us. That's including the boys and girls. But when Dan was gone, we would go in the Dan yard and we would play football in his yard, because he had the best yard in the neighborhood. His grass was soft. He ain't had no weeds. he was always winning the yard of the month, and he had like a big long stretch of land for us to play on. But whenever Dan was there, we wouldn't dare go in his yard, because Dan also had a corner lot. And when you're on the corner lot, people cut through your yard. They can't. We don't take the extra 10 steps to go around the corner. We gotta cut through your grass, right? Right, because it's quicker. So he would always be on the porch, and he would, hey, get off my grass. So we jump off his grass. When he wasn't there, Dan got older. He got older, and he got sick, and his yard went kaput. So now Dan can't take care of his yard like he used to. It doesn't look the same. So what the neighborhood kids started doing, man, instead of trapping on his grass, and instead of trying to play football on his grass, on Saturday mornings we'd be like, yeah man, let's go cut Dan grass. And we kept Dan yard up. We kept it looking immaculate for him, because that's what he wanted. Now, it's something he wanted to do. It's something he couldn't do, but it's something that we were able to do for him. And man, I'm gonna tell you, that's some of the best fun I ever had in my life, was being able to do something for someone, knowing the only thing they could give me back was just gratitude and saying thank you, because I did something, man. It really made me feel good and proud about myself, knowing that I took something that someone was doing and gave it back to them in a way that impacted them. Now, he ain't never won yard of the week anymore. Kids, we weren't that nice.
Yeah, kids in the yard.
we weren't that nice. But it was still the fact that we went out and did something for him, and that sits with me for a very long time. Even now, whenever I see his daughter, she always points and talks about how Dan really enjoyed us coming over and taking care of his yard for him, and how much that really meant to him. During some of his last days in life, man. I thought that was dope, man. I was like, man, we was already grown, but the impact was still there. Because you were being a servant, you were giving to someone something. And I think, man, it's when you're living your life as being a servant, when you're putting others first, it doesn't diminish you at all. It raises your level. All right, let me pause, because I'm about to keep going. I'm gonna let you.
I need to strike up the gospel organ again. You was about to start preaching. No, man. I agree with you. What you said, man, is that we have a tendency to look at being a servant as something that puts us in a position of beneath others, or for lack of a better term, subservient to their every whim, to their every need. no matter how ridiculous, no matter how crazy, we are essentially almost enslaved to others. That's not really what it is. And I think just the fact that you highlighted how it made you feel when you got nothing other than the gratitude in return is that it's a position that actually raises you rather than lowers you when you act as a servant. I think the one thing that is probably the greatest example is what's going on in the world right now in regards to the pandemic, man. It's, you know, we talk about and encourage people to go get vaccinated, but that is just as much for others as it is for the person who receives the needle in the arm. Because, you know, if you are in a position to have it and to not be as likely to spread it to someone else, that helps your health as well as the health of others that you may come in contact and engage with. Same thing for wearing a mask. Yeah, it protects you from possibly inhaling the virus, but it also protects others in case you might be contagious and don't even know it. Mm-hmm. Just the fact that sometimes these things that to a lot of people seem like they're just ridiculous asks and that they're unconcerned with how it's going to affect others because they're so concerned about how it's going to affect them and impact their personal freedoms. It's indicative to me of how little some of us think of having a servant mindset and a servant behavior. Because, okay, do I enjoy wearing a mask? Not really. Is it a minor inconvenience? Yes, but ultimately the good that can come from it is far greater than the cost that it's going to take me to actually do it. And I see a very similar parallel, what you talk about cutting Dan's yard. It's like, will it help Dan out? Yes. Did you enjoy cutting grass? I'm gonna venture to say you probably didn't.
No, I didn't.
But the joy that you got from it and the benefit that it had for Dan is just like, you know, man, it's a small thing, but it can make such a huge difference. Right. And if we, in general, as a society, had more of a mindset that was more towards the bent of being a servant, then there's so much more that we all could have in this world and so much of a better experience we could all have because we're taking time to do something that benefits others that they're not necessarily obligated to do back for us in return. You know, if I do something for you and then you repay me, whether it's in money or through some other action or some other means that's tangible, that's not necessarily being a servant. That's a transaction. That's in, you know, not every relationship you're going to have needs to be transactional, and more likely the situation is that they should not be transactional. Really, it should be look for things that you can do in ways that you can give and care for other people around you without expecting them to do anything back for you in return. So, you know, if it's something like cutting the neighbor's lawn who can't do it for themselves, if it's, you know, you're standing behind somebody at the grocery store and they're a couple dollars shorter in their groceries and you give them whatever it takes for them to be able to get everything that they bought and put on the belt, even if they didn't have the money for it. If you just help make that difference up, you know, is that thing that could have such a severe impact positively for that person that you do it for, that ultimately they a lot of times cannot and really should not try to repay you other than just to say thank you or just to say, I really appreciate you doing that. Because you'll find, again, it fills you up. It makes you feel good, but it has a far greater impact on the person that you're doing it for. And I'm not gonna front. I do this from time to time, and I just think it's a neat thing, man. Occasionally when you go through a drive-through window, is you pay for your stuff and the person behind you, just find out what it is. Hey, how much is it total? Pay for it. They literally cannot do anything because they don't know who you are. They can't come find you. They can't, you know, it's done. You drive away. They have no way of repaying you. They can't even say thank you because you are gone in the vehicle down probably in a different direction from what they plan on going. There's no way they'll ever do it. But the feeling that you get just knowing that, you know what, I did something for someone that it very well could have done for themselves. but they weren't expecting it.
Yeah.
And just to have like, just imagine how you feel when you find a $20 bill in a jacket pocket in the winter. You know what I'm saying?
Oh snap! I'm
Yes.
gonna come up, dog.
Yeah, it feels good.
Yeah,
And it's
exactly.
basically that same feeling that you're giving to someone else, and just to know that, you know what, man, sometimes the things that I do, I'm going to do for someone. They're not going to be obligated and sometimes not even able to do anything back for me in return. But it feels good to do for others. And what you will eventually will find is that energy that you're putting out into the world will come back to you in different forms. I feel like we talked about this a little bit in the last episode as well. You don't look for a one-to-one return when you put these kind of things out in the world. Just because you bought somebody's lunch for $5 does not mean that you're going to get $5 back. It doesn't work like that.
That's right. Absolutely doesn't.
But if you continue to put that good energy out in the world, whether it's you financially, emotionally, spiritually do for someone else, there will be a financial, spiritual, emotional return for you in some other way that's going to bless your life in return. So that act of being a servant not only serves the person who you act on behalf of, but it'll eventually down the line in another way, shape, or form also serve you.
Yeah, dog, you must either be reading my mind or looking at some invisible notes that are written out, because that was my next point, talking about, it's universal law we're talking about here with being a servant. It's a universal law. Universal law doesn't say be selfish and you will thrive. It says give, so it's given back to you. Pressed down, shaken together, run over. Had room enough to receive, all that good stuff.
Amen. Amen.
That's the church bell right there, right? So, all right. So that's universal law. You must give. It's not that you should give or maybe I give. No, it's an obligation that you give. So the world returns that back to you. I think about I got two specific examples. Then I'm ready to move on whenever you are, right? So one is J. Paul Getty. J. Paul Getty is the world's first billionaire. And how did J. Paul Getty become the world's first billionaire? How did he do that? He made other people around him millionaires. Simple and plain. He just said, you know what, G, I'm going to make you a millionaire. And I'm going to make you a millionaire. I just want 10%. So he went around making people millionaires, bless them with his skills, his talent to make them millionaires, and took 10% from them. I mean, you're like, oh, he took 10% though. But if you help me make $1 million, you think I mind give you 10% of that? No, I'm good money, dog.
Exactly.
I'm good money. But in him doing that, he amassed a fortune far beyond that million, because he helped so many people and they gave back to him in small parts. So the universe returned to him what he gave out. Another example of that, I was thinking about this the other day, and I don't even know how I started thinking about this, but Dr. Dre. I was like, Dr. Dre a billionaire. How did he become a billionaire? Was it because he sold the headphones? Or was it because he poured his talent into a bunch of artists and said, hey man, here go my product. Here go my product. Here go my product. You go get famous. You go get dope. You go make a bunch of money. And I just get the producer credits and get paid behind that. And he did that so many times. The universe was like, man, look, we can't help but to pay you back for what you did. Because every time a Dr. Dre song is played and it's an artist on it, it's Dr. Dre playing. Yep. You're getting a small percentage of that. Anytime you hear a Snoop song, anytime you hear a Pac song, anytime you hear a Kendrick song, like all those things, man, either he influenced it or he directly a part of it. And because of that, when he got to the point where I'm gonna make these headphones, it was savvy business, but he also aligned himself early on in life of giving so much. The universe had to say, you know what, it's time for your return, dog. And that return was selling his headphones for $1 billion, and apparently he's still making money off them. It still say Beats by Dre.
Yeah, it's got his name on it. But yeah, you've got to be selfless.
Yes.
And that's not at the detriment of your own personal needs, but sometimes there needs to be greater consideration given to others, sometimes before yourself. Especially in situations where it really does not ask a whole lot of you to do so. I mean, you can think of the simplest gesture. You could hold a door open for somebody and allow them to come in without having to grab the door themselves. That simple gesture is being an act of being servant. Yeah, well, yeah, the fewer doors I got to touch, the more I appreciate it. Listen, I left the gym today and I'm backing into doors with a little push button in them. And then get out of here. I'm not touching that. Hey, there's another door. Okay, I got to back into that one. I got to back into 3 doors to get out of the gym. So yeah, I would appreciate somebody holding the door for me every now and then. And you in that act, in that moment, you may think that's small, that's insignificant, but you do that enough, eventually people are going to be recognizing you, like, oh, that's the dude that held the door open for everybody. Then when you are coming up to the door with your hands full, somebody's going to hold the door open for you. That's and right. every time it goes down like that, it's not going to be that one-to-one scenario. It's not going to be, oh, I held the door open for you, you hold the door open for me. Things are going to manifest in different ways. But if we hold so tightly to what we have and are so fearful to give it away, we will never open our hand to possibly receive more. So, you may think you got that $100 bill in your hand, you squeezing it so tight that you know what I'm saying, you can squeeze the hair off of Ben Franklin's head. You got it in your fist gripped tight. But if you don't open your hand, you don't know. There could be more waiting for you. It could be $300 waiting for you, but you're holding on to what you've got so tightly and unwilling to give it up, unwilling to release it, that you can't be blessed with more because you will refuse to let what you have go. That's right. And what we find a lot of times is that we're forced into situations where we have to let go, and then we're distraught and in despair. And it's not until we realize that because we let it go, we're freeing ourselves up for more, that we realize in the first place, we should have been more freely to give it up and not forced into that point of despair. We should have been more free with it, therefore making it a situation where we would have been more prepared and open and ready to receive. But we just hold on so tight so much that we don't want to give up. If you hold on tight and you don't want to give up, and you're not willing to share, and you're not willing to be a servant to another person, you never know what you're missing out on in your life.
You're right, man. And I know I say I had 2 points, but just one last point, man. Being a servant is not to be seen. You're not doing this for any clout, for anybody to see you, for you to get any credit for it. You're doing it simply for yourself. So if you're doing it to be seen, you're doing it for an alternative motive. Like, it doesn't work the same. People see that in you when you're not being genuine with your delivery or with the thing that you're doing. Make sure you're doing it from the heart. Make sure you genuinely want to do this thing. Don't do it just because. Do it because you genuinely want to do it, and you'll get genuine returns on your service.
Absolutely. Do it out of love, because that's when it's going to be done the best.
Yep.
All right, man. That was a deep message. Yeah. Deep message. So, yeah, man. I'm good. How you feeling about it?
I'm great, dog.
Now I'm gonna figure out, okay, how am I going to be a servant to someone tomorrow? What can I do? How can I bless someone? How can I share? Because I know, as selfish as it sounds, I know down the line, if I continue to have that attitude day after day, that it's going to come to my rescue one day when I need it the most.
Yeah, I think I mentioned to you before, man, like, I'm very consistent in my morning prayers. And like when I'm in the shower, it's the best time for me to talk to the Lord. I'm showering, I ain't got nothing else going on. I'm in the shower. I do that. And one of the things I always say is, man, allow me to be a blessing to someone today, whether it be mentally, spiritually, physically, financially, or emotionally. However you delivering that to me, man, allow me to be open to that so I can be that blessing to someone. And then I just go throughout my day, not necessarily looking for something, but when I see an opportunity there, I use it. Whether it be somebody asking me a question, you often get prompted when you need to serve someone, or just me talking to someone. I'm like, oh, okay, this person need help. They need something. You do that. Like, it could be something like you mentioned, like a small gesture, like not the last week or something, whatever. one of the security guards was in front of me in line in the breakfast line, and I already had my card out ready to pay for my food. He was digging through his wallet, and I was like, "Hey man, so you just getting a coffee?" And he was like, "Yeah." I was like, "I got it," and I handed the lady my card to pay for my food and his coffee. I caught me a coffee 50 cents. I don't even know how much coffee costs. Whatever.
At work, it might be $1.35, maybe.
Yeah, I don't even know how much coffee costs. But I was like, it's a coffee. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
And I took care of it. But man, the gratitude he gave me for doing that, I'm like, dog, it's no big deal. Like I didn't even. I had my earbuds in. I wasn't even trying to talk to him. I was riding with Stove God. You know what I'm saying?
It was no big deal for you.
Yeah.
But it means a lot to him.
It meant everything to him. And small tokens out of your day, like you said, could be impactful to that person in a way that you have no idea.
Right.
And just me simply, man, being selfless.
Yep. Just that easy, man.
Yeah.
It doesn't take much. You don't have to do a large scale grand gesture.
That's right.
Do what you can, where you can, without any expectation of return.
That's right. So, man, serve, man. Be a servant.
Yes, sir. All day. All right, man. Well, that's another episode of The Board Meeting. Make sure y'all check us out online at bodspeaks.com. You can find us on social media. The only three that matter are Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And on all three, you can find us at The True Board. And until next time.
Peace.